Eknath Shinde's power move. Chief Minister Shinde is Shiv Sena's new chief leader. Uddhav Thackeray's plea is set to be heard in Supreme Court on Wednesday. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar, in a no-holds-barred interview, has spoken of India being targeted by foreign hand. The BBC series Prime Minister in China among several issues. This is politics by other means, he said, alluding to the documentary on Prime Minister Modi. A year since the war on Ukraine, Russian President Putin vowed to continue the war in Ukraine just hours after US President, in a surprise visit to Kyiv, vowed to continue supporting Ukraine with military. India and China will contribute over 50% to growth, according to the International Monetary Fund. India and China will contribute more than half of global growth this year. India's digital payment system UPI goes global. Prime Minister Modi and Singapore Prime Minister at the UPI launch for Singapore. Javed Akhtar calls out Pakistan, while in Pakistan says 2611 killers still roam free in Pakistan. Receives praise from many, including Kangana Ranaut. Hello, I'm Sneha Koshi, and the Shinde faction is no longer just Shinde faction. In fact, Eknath Shinde is the new leader, chief of Shiv Sena. That's been decided in the Shiv Sena's national executive meeting, which ended on Tuesday. This is a big move, even as Uddhav Thackeray's hearing in the Supreme Court is set to be heard on Wednesday.
मुख्य नेता शिवसेना के एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब के अध्यक्षता के अंदर हो गई है। जो संकल्प वंदनीय बाला साहब ठाकरे जी का था, वो आगे लेके जाना, जिसके लिए हमने उठाव किया था, वो ध्यान में रख के आगे काम करना, ये मार्गदर्शन मुख्य नेता शिवसेना के एकनाथ जी शिंदे साहब ने सब राष्ट्रीय कार्यकारिणी को किया है।
After the Election Commission on Friday decided that Eknath Shinde along with his 40 MLAs and 13 MPs have the Shiv Sena name as well as the bow and arrow symbol, a national executive meeting was called on Tuesday where several decisions and resolutions were passed. Now, the main point of this national executive meeting was to make Eknath Shinde as the chief leader of Shiv Sena party. Now, he'll be making all the legislative decisions. What does this mean? So now Eknath Shinde will play the main role in the party. Earlier, when Uddhav Thackeray was the president, he was called the party president of Shiv Sena. However, they haven't kept that post, and now Eknath Shinde will be called as the chief leader of Shiv Sena, and he has all the rights. Apart from that, a very important proposal that was passed is that Shiv Sena supports and demands that Bharat Ratna should be given to Savarkar. Now, why is this important? Because be it Sanjay Raut, be it Uddhav Thackeray or other leaders, they have been saying that and questioning the BJP that why haven't they declared a Bharat Ratna for Savarkar. So this is like a counter argument for Shiv Sena as well as BJP ahead of the BMC elections, and that's why this is also a resolution that has been passed. Several other resolutions passed, which includes like Marathi language should get the status of elite language, son of soil should be given 80% jobs. But all of this will be challenged on Wednesday when the Supreme Court around 3:30 p.m. will be hearing the appeal made by Uddhav Thackeray. Now, Uddhav Thackeray has claimed that since a hearing is already going on in the Supreme Court regarding the disqualification of 16 MLAs, how come the Election Commission of India passed this decision that the name and the party symbol goes to Eknath Shinde? So this hearing will begin on Wednesday around 3:30 p.m. and only after that we'll come to know that what exactly is the future of Shiv Sena.
And Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar has spoken on a range of topics, from China, the controversial BBC series, to his first meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is politics by other means. It's just one of the things he said while alluding to the documentary on Prime Minister Modi in his interview with ANI. Let's listen in.
I mean, let me tell you one thing. I don't know if election season has started in India and Delhi or not, but for sure it has started in London and New York. What is it we are debating? We are not debating just a documentary or a speech that somebody gave in a European city or a newspaper edit somewhere. We are debating actually politics which is being conducted ostensibly as media, so there is a phrase, war by other means. There is also, think of it, this is politics by another means. I mean, you'll do a hatchet job, then you want to do a hatchet job and say, well, this is just another quest for truth which we decided after 20 years to put out at this time. So I mean, come on, you think the timing is accidental? It's like drip, 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 like water on stone. The whole idea is to shape your image, your collective image. Shape it in a way in which you're made to look extremist, you're made to look unreasonable, you are made to look as though, you're not part of this, what is otherwise a great, good, progressive world. Okay. Now, it happens in different ways. I just look at the budget of the border infrastructure. During the Modi period, the budget has gone up 5 times. Till 2014, roughly it was 3,000, 4,000 crores was the budget. Today it is 14,000 crores. If you look at the roads which are built, you look at the bridges that are built, they have doubled or tripled. You look at the tunnels which are taking place. I mean, this government is serious about border infrastructure. Somewhere we are being accommodative. I mean, I ask people, if we were being accommodative, who sent the Indian army to the LAC? Rahul Gandhi didn't send them. Narendra Modi sent them. Okay? We have today the largest peacetime deployment in our history.
And a year since the war on Ukraine, Russian President Putin vowed to continue the war in Ukraine just hours after the US president, in a surprise visit to Kyiv, vowed to continue supporting Ukraine with military and other aid till it wins.
Президент Российской Федерации Владимир Владимирович Putin.
Russian president vowing to continue the war in Ukraine hours after the US president, in a surprise visit to Kyiv, vowed to continue supporting Ukraine with military and other aid till it wins. President Putin's invasion of Russia began on the 24th of February last year, for which he has blamed the West. He says they want to expand NATO to Russia's borders by making Ukraine a member, and they were close to launching action, which is what he preempted to protect Russia and the eastern parts of Ukraine, which he claimed and annexed.
And I would like to reiterate this. It was them who unleashed this war. And the goal of the West is unbridled power. They have already spent more than $150 billion to supply weapons to the Kyiv regime. But it was them who let this genie out of the bottle.
He's called for more military preparations, signaling he will continue to fight.
Important to re-equip our forces and nuclear forces. We have to reach a level of preparation of at least 90% in all the areas of the military force. Those men need to understand that their country is in a position to use the best they can give, and we have the technical means, we have high quality forces, very much superior to their counterparts in other countries, but we need to step up the production of our weapons.
This signaling is important in a year the Russian army has gained and lost control of much of Ukraine, except for some bits in the east. Today, however, Putin conceded problems, promising healthcare to injured soldiers, jobs and vacations for families of fallen ones, and a pay hike and subsidized housing for armament workers.
Draftees and volunteers and officers and soldiers of the army are thinking about the supplies for them and about the remuneration for the wounds and injuries that they receive, the health care and the requests that the governors are receiving, and the ombudsman on the rights of human rights. We receive a lot of these requests, and it means that a lot of problems are still not resolved, so we need to take care of every individual case.
Russia's war efforts suffered setbacks because of supplies, poor management, eventual induction of conscripts, which led to many men fleeing Russia and protests. But now, it's making some gains thanks to Putin's controversial induction of a ruthless private army led by a close associate which uses prisoners as soldiers. Putin says the country has everything it needs for its security and its economy is fine. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Правда за нами.
And the BJP is fighting all 60 seats in Meghalaya, but all eyes are on the prestigious South Tura seat, where the party has fielded Bernard Marak, who was accused of running a child prostitution racket to take on Chief Minister Conrad Sangma. NDTV's Ratnadeep Chaudhary and Sanjay Chakrabarti report.
Bernard Marak is unfazed about being dubbed a most controversial candidate in Meghalaya. The former militant was chosen by the BJP to take on Meghalaya's sitting Chief Minister Conrad Sangma in South Tura.
He was charged of running a brothel. He was charged of child prostitution, something that his party, the BJP, had vehemently denied and called it a political vendetta.
He's now out on bail and says the case is politically motivated.
What happened to me was a controversy. That is what Conrad has done. He used his power to highlight me in a wrong light. People are facing lots of hardships, as you have seen that just a stone's throw away from the PS Sangma Stadium. This is a locality where we don't have roads and the water has been disconnected. These people are facing immense difficulty and there is no one to address the problem.
Conrad Sangma is fighting to not just win South Tura but retain the state. So through the day he campaigns for party candidates and late evenings are reserved for his own constituency.
The BJP was very much part of this government in the last 5 years. There were ministers of the BJP who were cabinet ministers in our government. That's number one. So they were very much part of us in the last 5 years. And when the election came, of course, now the tone is different. Where we were in the ranking in 2017, we have seen that Meghalaya has improved drastically in the last 5 years. And the certification of that has been given by Government of India itself.
Another Marak in the race in South Tura is Richard Marak from the Trinamool Congress. The TMC is hoping to occupy the political space left empty by the defection from the Congress of former Chief Minister Mukul Sangma and others in November 2021.
Today you see all my people who are outsiders here. Who are outsiders here? They are all part and parcel of the people who create this whole demography. Our Garos, Khasis, Jaintias, then other tribes who co-inhabit in this beautiful state of ours, including some non-tribal communities, both Hindus and Muslims.
With Ratnadeep Chaudhary, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And days after 2 Muslim men were killed, charred to death, allegedly by cow vigilantes, NDTV has accessed crucial documents that show 3 of the 5 accused were police informers. Saurabh Shukla reports.
3 of the 5 men accused of burning Nasir and Junaid to death in Haryana's Bhiwani previously worked as informers of the Haryana police. The startling revelation in these FIRs registered by the Haryana police in January. As per the FIRs accessed by NDTV, the Haryana police raided cow smugglers in other cases based on information given by Lokesh Singla, one of the alleged murderers of Nasir and Junaid. As per sources, the Haryana police works closely with vigilante groups to clamp down on alleged cow smugglers.
Monu Manesar is absconding, Rajasthan police is looking for him. Now this Mahapanchayat has decided to give protection to Manesar and to the family of Monu Manesar. There will be more than 50 youths will be deployed at Monu Manesar's house to stop Rajasthan police from entering his house or from interrogating his family members.
As accused Monu Manesar, the face of cow vigilantism in Haryana, continues to face political heat, the Hindu Mahapanchayat jumped to his defence. In its gathering today, they appealed for support and demanded a CBI investigation into the case. With camera person Prem Singh and my colleague Saurabh Shukla, Vedant for NDTV.
Well, two Karnataka women officers, top Karnataka women officers, one an IPS officer, the other an IAS officer, have been transferred without posting day after their fight.
The Bommai government in Karnataka has effectively punished two warring senior women bureaucrats, removing D. Rupa IPS from her post of Managing Director of the Karnataka State Handicrafts Development Corporation and Rohini Sinduri IAS as the Commissioner of Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments. This after IAS officer Rohini Sinduri and IPS officer Rupa attacked each other on social media. Chief Minister Basuraj Bommai ordered the two to not wash their dirty linen in front of the media.
ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಲಿಖಿತವಾಗಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಆಗಲೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ರೂಲ್ಸು, ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ
ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನೋ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಖಂಡನೀಯ. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದಂಥ ಗಮನವನ್ನು ಮಾನ್ಯ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಕಾನೂನು ಚೌಕಟ್ಟು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
On Sunday, D. Rupa of IPS rank shared private photos of IAS officer Rohini Sinduri on her Facebook page and leveled allegations of sending her photos to 3 male IAS officers in 2021 and 22 and corruption allegations against Sinduri, while Rohini Sinduri claimed Rupa was suffering from mental health issues, forcing the government to step in. In Bengaluru, Shrija for NDTV.
For now, it's time for a short break. Welcome back. And UK Foreign Office Minister David Rutley has backed BBC regarding the raids at the BBC offices in India. He's, in a very strong statement, has said, we stand for the BBC, we fund the BBC, we want BBC to have editorial freedom. That freedom is key and we want to be able to communicate its importance to our friends across the world, including the government in India.
As everyone in this House will be aware, the BBC is quite rightly, operationally and editorially independent from His Majesty's government. While I cannot comment on the allegations made by India's Income Tax Department, the BBC has said that it is supporting its staff in its Indian offices and cooperating with the Indian authorities to resolve this matter as soon as possible. Respect for the rule of law is an essential element of an effective democracy. So too is an independent media and freedom of speech. They make countries stronger and more resilient. That's why we regularly engage with different parts of India's media and support it. For example, through the annual South Asia Journalism Fellowship Programme under the flagship Chevening brand, which includes over 60 Indian alumni. As my right honourable friend, the Foreign Secretary, has previously said, the UK regards India as an important international partner, and His Majesty's government is investing heavily in strengthening our ties.
Well, in a first, India and Singapore today linked their online payment systems to facilitate cross-border transfers. The real-time link will enable faster remittance between the two countries along with lower cost of payments.
आज के लॉन्च ने क्रॉस बॉर्डर फिनटेक
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with his Singaporean counterpart Lee, launching a linkage between India's leading payment system UPI and Singapore's PayNow, a similar instant payment platform.
With the help of UPI and PayNow Singapore,
आज के बाद सिंगापुर और भारत के लोग अपने मोबाइल फोन से उसी तरह पैसे ट्रांसफर कर पाएंगे जैसे वे अपने अपने देश के अंदर करते हैं। इससे दोनों देशों के लोगों को अपने मोबाइल से तत्काल कम खर्च में फंड ट्रांसफर करने में मदद मिलेगी।
This is India's first payment systems linkage that allows real-time cross-border payments, though it's Singapore's second. Indians with family members living in Singapore can now send them Indian rupees converted to Singapore dollars in a matter of seconds. Indians can also now instantly receive money from Singapore, which accounts for 5.7% of all remittances to India.
Cross-border retail payments and remittances between Singapore and India amount to over $1 billion annually. It's also the world's first such linkage to feature cloud-based infrastructure and participation by non-bank financial institutions.
UPI transactions hit a record high of over 8 billion transactions worth almost 13 lakh crore in the month of January, which was up 74% from a year ago. And UPI is the leading payment system in India. There have been several steps recently to make UPI go international. 2 weeks ago, the Reserve Bank of India announced that visitors from G20 countries will be allowed to make UPI payments to shop in India. Last month, the government announced that Indians in 10 other countries would be able to access UPI from April 30th. But the linkage with Singapore is the first step that lets people in another country pay and receive money via UPI. Priyanshi Sharma for NDTV.